Hi, welcome to J&R Ministry for Kids. Today we're going to be in a story for you, and it is called The Night of Betrayal and Prayer. And the story overview says one of the apostles, Judas, secretly made plans to help the Jewish leaders have Jesus arrested. During the Passover meal, Jesus knew that Judas was the one who would betray him, if you remember it. You remember it? Oh, that's great. Okay, so now, a lot of you know what an emergency is. Raise your hands. Oh, okay, good. Like fires, someone choking, a car accident, and know an emergency number to call. Well, sometimes when we are in trouble, we need help. Right? Right. Well, we ring the hospital or ambulance, or someone who can actually help us. In today's story, Jesus was very upset because, and I'm going to tell you why, he knew something terrible was just about to happen. Jesus went to talk to the only one who could really help. God. Well, we're going to go ahead and get to this story. Let's get into the story. Judas Iscariot was one of the 12 disciples of Jesus. He followed Jesus and listened to the things Jesus preached. Judas was Jesus' friend at first, but then he decided he did not want to be Jesus' friend. In fact, he decided he would do something very bad to Jesus. There were some other people that did not like Jesus. Can you believe that? Okay. Now, these men were leaders of God's people, but they were not good leaders. Obviously not. They did not like it that people listened to Jesus instead of them. They hated Jesus. They hated him so much that they wanted to kill him. Judas went to these Jewish leaders to make a plan to hurt Jesus. They decided they would arrest Jesus and make him stop preaching about God. The Jewish leaders told Judas they would pay him 30 pieces of silver if he would help them find Jesus. 30 pieces of silver. People are just so treacherous sometimes, even if you think they're your friend. But they're not. Not always. You must be able to look at the fruits that they give of their life if they're a trustworthy person. Judas ate the Passover meal with Jesus and other disciples. Before the meal was over, Judas left to go tell the Jewish leaders where Jesus was. Jesus knows what will happen even before it happens. He knew that he was going to die soon. Can you just imagine knowing when he was going to die? It's very horrible, isn't it, friends? Anyway, so back to the story. Okay, so that made the disciples very sad, though. They did not believe Jesus, that he was going to leave them soon. Peter said, "Not me, Jesus. I will never leave you." Jesus looked at Peter and said, "Peter, you will leave me. You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows in the morning." After this, Jesus and the disciples left and went to a place called Gethsemane. I'm supposing because of the M-A-N-E. Jesus told his disciples to wait while he went ahead to pray. He asked Peter, James, and John to come with him. When they got to a place where they could be alone, Jesus told Peter, James, and John to wait and stand guard while he prayed by himself. "You should pray too," Jesus said. "Bad things are going to happen, and you will need courage to be good." Jesus prayed to God. He asked God to help him do the right thing. He did not want to have to die, but he wanted to do it if that is what God wanted him to do. Sometimes we got to think of others. Yes. And boy, did Jesus think of others. Let's get to the story. Jesus went back to his friends. They were not praying like he had told them to. Guess what they were doing instead? They were sleeping. Oh my goodness. Friends, if Jesus tells you to do something, you do it. He's God's Son, the Father's Son. That means he makes him God. So if he says something, do it. They were not praying like he had told them to. Jesus went back to his friends and he was just... Jesus told them to wake up. Jesus went back and prayed it 2 more times. Each time he came back, he found Peter, James, and John sleeping. Ooh-wee. The last time Jesus told them to wake up because a crowd of people were coming with clubs and swords. Guess who was leading the crowd of people? Yep, It was Judas. He was bringing the people to arrest Jesus. How will we know which man to arrest? The people in the crowd asked Judas. In those times, students used to kiss their teacher on the cheek when they saw them. Jesus is my teacher. Just watch, Judas said. I will kiss Jesus. Then you will know which one to arrest. When Judas came to Jesus, he kissed him on the cheek. The men with the clubs and swords arrested Jesus and started to take him away. Peter was very upset. He couldn't believe they were going to arrest Jesus. Jesus had never done anything wrong. Peter pulled out a sword and tried to protect Jesus. He cut off the ear of the servant of one of the Jewish leaders, and Jesus was not happy with Peter. He told Peter to stop fighting. Jesus put his hand on the servant's ear, and the man's ear was healed. Wonderful. Isn't Jesus wonderful? Jesus knew God wanted him to go with these men. So he left. He did not even fight them. All of the disciples were very frightened. They all ran away so they would not be arrested. Jesus' friends left him just like Jesus said they would. Well, yes. So, let's make sure you're paying attention. I have a question. What's the name of the betrayal that betrayed Jesus, the betrayer that betrayed Jesus? And what's his name?
Ready, go!
Oh, very good. Very good. Yes, Judas. Okay. What did Jesus do in the Garden of Gethsemane? Yes, prayed. 3 apostles were supposed to keep watch while Jesus prayed. What did they do instead? Yes, they slept. We'll see you next week for the remaining of this. And don't forget to stop by to Dave.
Dave the Donkey with the verse of the day. Luke 22:34. Jesus answered, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me. And that's today's verse, kids. See you next time for the verse of the day. Ni hao.